Welcome back to Piano Chats. We're going to talk about used pianos. Very tough subject. So, pianos from the 70s, 80s now. 10, 15 years ago, they would be okay pianos. Now that we're at 2024, pianos from the 70s, 60s, 80s they can't hold up. It's impossible. We actually, as a company, won't take those in on trade, and we can donate them. But it's very hard when you have a full trade-in policy to take a piano that's that old, try to rebuild it, and try to sell it, because you lose money because of the parts and everything they have to put it in. An example would be if it was a Steinway. Steinway rebuilds pianos. Their factory in New York and Long Island no longer has a rebuilding plant. It is now in Iowa. So that's where the plant is. I've talked to several people at Steinway. They said they vetted the company that rebuilds there, and they're supposed to be pretty good. So I have no idea. Haven't played any of those pianos yet. But you can no longer get the same service that you got in New York. Second part is action parts for Steinway. So Steinway's action parts actually doubled a few years ago, and it was for repetition levers, action hammers, shanks, and flanges. Well, just to get the hammer that moves the key, the shank, and then the flange that holds it, those are very expensive parts, thousands, because Steinway had doubled the parts. Well, now it's a point to where they offer the hammerhead in New York, the actual hammerhead of the piano. Everything else is gone. You have to get the parts to Renner out of Phoenix, out of Meyer, who owns the Renner company. And so that's what's changed things. So you can't really get that autonomous rebuild where everything's together in the plant at the factory. It's impossible. So because they don't do it anymore. And so for us to take an old piano and to rebuild that, refinish it, get all those parts, to pay the labor, everything else, it's impossible because it puts the piano at an impossible price. Very, very hard. So that's why it's tough on the market right now. Also, if you buy a used piano, you have to know if it's rebuilt, who rebuilt it, where the parts come from, do you have paperwork on it? You can't believe what people are saying. You have to have actual factual information about it. And you have to know about pianos so that when you look inside, you can tell whether it was rebuilt or whether a part was rebuilt. And that's why when we take in used pianos, we'll have people take pictures of the action, of the hammers, the strings, and you can look and see if there's rust, if there's corrosion, if they're old, and then that way we can tell if the piano's rebuilt. Even though the client may have said, hey, this was rebuilt, we bought it, and they said it was totally rebuilt, well, they were misled. And so that's how we get to the truth about pianos. We're very, very thorough about it. And that way, if we're presenting that used product to somebody, we'll know about the product or what we need to do to make it right. That's the first part about used pianos. Now in the industry, you'll find Wurlitzer, Kimball, and the older Baldwins now are usually free. We don't even trade them. Sometimes we will give them away, and that's part of our service here at Classic Pianos. If there are people that can't afford a piano, but they can afford lessons, we'll give them a piano for free. And so that's something that we do for the community. We also donate to the community, to all of the music venues and stuff. So in picking a used piano, there's many things you have to consider. The hammers, the age of the hammer, the hardness of the hammer, the brightness, and things like that. So you really need to come in to the store so that we can talk to you about the pianos themselves, how it relates, how it feels to your hands, what level of piano you're playing, because you just can't come in and just pick. And as a pianist, maybe you haven't heard all the dynamic ranges that a piano can do, and maybe you haven't heard the right piano for you. But I would probably say that this company, with all of the top technicians that we have, some of them the top in the country, will be able to find a piano for you or put it in a position of sound and touch that you'll like. Because that's the main part that you should be interested in the most in a used piano, is touch and tone. Those are the two main things. And that's all for now, so I'll come back in a moment. Thanks.